Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Underwood. I am the beauty director of the Oprah magazine and oprahmag.com. And I'm really thrilled to be moderating this panel today with a gentleman that some of you, all of you have probably heard of, Mr. Frédéric Fekkai, legendary hairstylist, the man essentially responsible for bringing luxury hair care to the United States. We're also joined by Dabbagh, the CMO of Fekkai Brands, who is responsible for all of the brand's marketing efforts. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you both.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So let's get right to it because we have a lot to talk about and not that much time to do it. So I'll kick things off over to you, Frédéric. So obviously, the clean beauty movement has been gaining a lot of traction for years and years. People are becoming much more aware of what's in their products and what they want to use on their hair and skin. And your brand is part of that. What do you think is your brand's definition of clean and natural? Where do you fit into that?
Yes, thank you, Brian. First of all, I think it's all a part of a way of life. As you've seen, people have made a huge conscious decision to apply a healthier life in their regimen. So whether it's at food at home, with great ingredients, organic ingredients, whether it's to even clean the house where there is no toxic. And frankly, I thought that for me, acquiring my brand back, it was important that I would be up to date, that I would be relevant to the lifestyle that we have today, right, which is, having a great environment, respect for the environment, and especially, taking care of ourselves with the formula that are not toxic and not affecting in any way our hygiene.
And you mentioned the environment because sustainability is another big part of your brand as well, correct?
Yes, sustainability is huge. I think it's the responsibility of brand, of manufacturer like us to set the standard, and we did that. We packaged all our product with 95% of recycled plastic, and we are 100% recyclable. And I think this is a great step forward to pamper the planet.
Great, Saeed. I'll direct this next one to you. Where were you able to identify the white space in the market, and how do you think the brand has successfully fit into that space and addressed consumer demand?
Yeah, Brian, great question. Clean, sustainable beauty that is affordable and effective is really where we saw the white space. I think for the many years, people who wanted clean had to trade off between performance or trade off between even buying a brand they were familiar with to get something clean and sustainable. And so we bring that together in Fekkai. Not only is the brand clean and sustainable and vegan and cruelty-free, but we are backed by decades of salon performance. So bringing that know-how and education together with the development of the formula and the packaging is really where the white space lies for us. Not to mention on the packaging side, being 95% made from recycled plastic and then 100% recyclable also sets us apart in this market.
Great. Well, I mean, you mentioned performance, salon performance hair care. So let's get right to it. I mean, the reason why we're here is because the brand this month just launched a line of CBD, scalp calming CBD hair care. And it really is the first salon performance line in this space. So it's very exciting. Frédéric, what inspired you to take the brand in this direction in the CBD space, and why now?
I think it's absolutely very interesting what is happening with CBD in general. for health and beauty. So CBD in hair care was something that I wanted to explore because, we always think about hair and never think enough about the scalp.
Yeah.
And the truth is that a lot of the beauty of the hair, a lot of the health of the hair depends also on the condition of the scalp.
Right.
And CBD, I was very impressed and very, attracted by what CBD had to offer. And with a soothing and a calming a property, and the fact that is also, CBD is a bit of a taboo, but at the end of the day, CBD is an organic plant. It's coming from the earth. It's healthy. It's if it's used properly, it is an amazing ingredient. And so the start with us is to apply this CBD on our formula to relax and soothe and calm the scalp.
And scalp care, as a beauty editor, I'm seeing so much focus in the hair care market on the scalp. Is that where you see your CBD line filling the white space in your own brand? Really, this focus on scalp care.
Scalp care is part of it. It's not only that, but it's part of it. And for a long time, we always address the scalp as an issue.
Yeah.
People were only taking care of the scalp if they had dandruff or some other issues. But it's not that. The issue with the scalp in general is that it's very tense, especially with everyone today. Everybody's stressed by something, business, family, COVID, anything. And the scalp, when it's so tense like that, it doesn't allow the roots and the hair to have that spring, that bounce, and that luster that it usually has.
Yeah.
So by doing the massage, by applying the oil to open a little bit the pore and give the follicle some oxygen, all of a sudden you have a reaction in the hair that is is shiny, it's moving, it's flowing, it's bouncy, and that's why the scalp is a very important part to be treated.
And CBD really as an ingredient, we saw this first in ingestibles, then we saw it in skincare, and now I am seeing more and more hair care lines using this ingredient. Saeed, what do you think is it that makes the Fekkai line different from some of the other hair care lines with CBD in there?
Well, I think first and foremost, we are the first salon professional hair care brand to launch a range of CBD hair care products.
Yeah.
There are some that have been developed, but by smaller brands that are mostly coming from an arena of just CBD versus coming the other way, which is from a salon hair care expertise.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that not only is there CBD, but it's the fusion of the CBD technology along with clean and sustainable at the core of it. So you're not compromising on that performance.
So speaking of that, how is the CBD sourced to align with the brand's sustainability efforts?
So we partnered with our fragrance house and their venture partner, which happens to be one of the largest producers of industrial hemp extract here based in the US.
Okay.
The hemp products are from the lab we use they're the gold standard of the industry. And the hemp is cultivated organically, and they use this proprietary supercritical CO2 extraction to deliver the high quality hemp derived CBD. The lab is very transparent. We've been in negotiations with them and working with them for a while now to ensure that both the product is not just good for people, but also for the environment, which aligns with Fekkai's brand ethos.
Great. What is the strain? Can you share the strain of CBD that's used in the hair care?
So I'm not as familiar on this. I mean, I know the name is called Lifter and Suver Haze.
Okay.
I'm not very familiar on the distinction between the different strains in terms of what they look like, but it's really, that's the name of the hemp plant and the cultivar. And it's the biomass from which the broad spectrum meaning non-THC hemp is extracted from.
And have you been to the farm? Have you seen the farm? Do you see where this is grown and cultivated?
So not yet, but we are planning out a visit. We've been to our fragrance house and seen kind of the raw material that's being used.
Yeah.
But we do have a visit out there. I mean, unfortunately, right now with some of the fires happening out in Oregon, it's been a challenge. But hopefully, they are going to overcome this and be back in a good place.
Right. And speaking of the farm and the people who are growing, I think there are consumers that, really literally want to know who is making the products that they're buying. And these formulators are becoming, a very public facing part of the equation. Is this something that you're feeling and seeing as well? And how does it sort of impact your decision making in terms of choosing your ingredient suppliers just the people that you work with in general?
I mean, I think definitely consumers are much more aware of what they're looking for, but also of transparency coming from brands. And they want to ensure that there's an ethical environmental impact of the goods and services that they're either buying into or the brands that they trust. And they want to know that they're purchasing something that not just is, clean or vegan, but also the process behind it is also ethical, that the brands and organizations are set up in that way. And it's really important that we continue with all of our product development to meet that standard.
So CBD, just in general, we're just, as I said, seeing tremendous growth in the beauty industry in terms of the use of this ingredient. Saeed, you've worked in the beauty industry, at other brands as well. So what do you think has driven the growth of CBD in the industry and made it so successful? Is it a results oriented thing?
I think it's a blend of many things that have happened over the past few years that have given this great rise in popularity to CBD. One would be the awareness of CBD and kind of the benefits of it. Two, in 2018, the Farm Bill, which removed hemp from a classification of controlled substances. And then the legalization of marijuana in multiple states have kind of, from a legal perspective, set it up. Then when you look at the fact that this all happened, has opened and allowed the industry as a whole to thrive and innovate in ways that you'd never seen before. So brands like Dosist and Pax, and then when you look at edibles like Kiva and Coda, really taking a lead. I mean, when you look at them, Dosist looks like the Mac of pens, and then you look at Kiva and Coda, and the packaging and the design is really inspiring other categories to adopt these ingredients and really elevate the offerings. So CBD is no longer looked at; it's looked at it in a high regard. I think this, together with the research that's come out about the benefits of CBD, the calming and therapeutic effects of it, as well as the desire from people to their heightened interest in more relaxing, calming, kind of natural ways to relieve stress and anxiety. So altogether, I think it's really a perfect storm.
Yeah, I mean, having seen so many of these products over and over again, I definitely have a feeling that CBD is going to find a permanent place in the pantheon of ingredients used in the beauty industry. Frédéric, do you agree? Do you think CBD in general is just bigger than a trend and will become sort of a staple ingredient in the beauty industry?
Yes, so Brian, at first, a year or two ago, I was skeptic about, what CBD could do.
Right, same.
And more and more, now that I educated myself and met some serious, researcher, doctors, I see that CBD is become a genuine trend, and that would be established as, a norm, certainly in the beauty space.
Yeah.
I believe that because it's just the beginning, more brands will incorporate the CBD ingredients in their offering. And because more research will be available, indicating therapeutic health benefits, and as more consumer will seek that natural ingredient, CBD will continue to flourish and really expand tremendously.
Brian, if I can add, I would kind of say like with the more research, with the more testing that comes out on CBD, it could be likened to like, although it's not a food and you won't eat it, but the equivalent of like superfoods, like goji and acai and all of these that we had seen over several years being used as ingredients.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the experts and dermatologists that I've spoken to say it really will find its niche as like the premier anti-inflammatory ingredient.
Exactly.
And that's where it will kind of live. Saeed, from your perspective, you know, formulating with this ingredient and entering this space for the first time with the brand, what were were there any unexpected challenges that you encountered getting this line, you know, to market in terms of the ingredient, using the ingredient itself?
Definitely. I mean, as a raw ingredient, it's really a large molecular weight compound.
Yeah.
And it's highly nonpolar in solubility. So also making it, formulating with it is a challenge. It's depending on the process, the refinement, and kind of the state of the concentration. Actually, CBD in its kind of purest core state ranges from, it's like a tar, and it ranges from like a paste to almost kind of like a crystal form.
Yeah.
So because of that, you need to find a way to like a user-friendly way to produce with it and to dilute it in like a natural carrier state. So for us, for example, the Fekkai CBD Supreme Oil is diluted in a blend of organic coconut oil.
Yeah.
And then as kind of in terms of a formulation, I would say that also to get it into the oil was a challenge for us because we had to find natural esters to achieve the formula clarity while also incorporating 2.3% of CBD oil in this formula.
Yeah.
So a lot of trial and error, a lot of back and forth to get it right, but a lot of learnings from it, I would say.
Yeah. Well, the oil in particular, I think is an incredible, incredible product. And you'll actually see it in the October issue of Oprah magazine. You know, there are 4 or 5 products in the line right now,
yeah.
Do you see the line, the CBD expanding, or is this kind of it for now? What are your thoughts there?
So for now, we formulated a range that we think is pretty solid. There's a shampoo and a conditioner. There's a shampoo for 2 different hair types. So a lighter formulation for finer hair types and a thicker for thicker hair types. And then you have a conditioner, a mask, and then the oil. And we want to understand, based on what we developed, how people are using it, how they find the formulas. And based on that feedback, I think we will look at either refining or expanding. I would love to expand this line further, but would definitely want to understand what are some of the opportunities we have from within the products.
Right.
And ultimately, the oil there could be variants eventually, but today we've developed it as a scalp and body oil.
Yeah.
It's actually scalp, hair, and body, so you can use it a multitude of ways. It's an incredible formula.
And is that the first product in the brand that has a sort of body application to it as well, as opposed to just hair?
Yeah, in this from the new Fekkai that you see, this is our first foray into that.
Right. So, Frédéric, you know, as I just mentioned, we've seen ingestible CBD, we've seen it in skincare, we're now seeing it in hair care. Where do you think CBD could potentially go from here in the beauty industry? Any predictions, thoughts about what we could see in the future with CBD in personal care?
You know, CBD, as you just said, you know, establishes itself first in body and skincare.
Yeah.
But of course, now we are introducing in hair care, and for the reason I mentioned earlier, because, you know, really beautiful hair, and, you know, really hair usually is affected by many problems: stress, pollution, water, and so on. And CBD, not just by itself, also, you know, applied or formulated with other ingredients, complementary ingredients, will do wonders. I think it's just the beginning, and we're going to see, as we see it now, we're going to see that there is going to be some great formulation coming out there in beauty in general, just for skincare, as we talked about, for body, bath and body, for hair care, and perhaps in cosmetic as well.
Yeah.
But I certainly see a lot with other ingredients doing wonders in hair.
Yeah, you mentioned cosmetics, and I actually think that could be a great application for CD, like an anti-redness primer or something geared toward that could be, I think, a really interesting place to go. Yeah. Saeed, you're probably looking at, tons of different ingredients all the time, where you might take the brand next, what products you might be thinking of launching next. Where do you think, both your brand and also the industry in general is going in terms of ingredients? Do you think it's solidly a focus on kind of natural extracts? Is that what you're seeing?
I think, there's a few camps, but I definitely think interest and also development within the space of plant-based and natural alternatives are definitely more of an interest right now. Consumers are more interested in a clean beauty route, and with brands offering kind of more natural alternatives. And we're seeing it happen in skincare. Bakuchiol, which is a natural alternative to retinol, has become all the hype recently. And the effectiveness is kind of at the same level, so why not? Although I do believe that you still will have, and especially when it comes to skincare, you will have ingredients that will remain lab developed, that will definitely be of a high potency. So I'm not saying that that's going away, but I think from a hair care perspective, we're definitely riding in this plant-based, more natural alternative space.
Got it. And sort of relatedly, and I know we just sort of talked about the expansion of the CBD line. Do you think there's any room for a CBD styling product, or do you think that's sort of not a necessary thing right now?
So if we look at the core benefits of CBD, which are calming, anti-irritation, anti-sensitive, for sensitive, I don't think necessarily a styling product would make the most sense now. Maybe it's a hybrid treatment of styling and a treatment, but we want to stay true and to what the product benefits are. This isn't a marketing play where just you're throwing in the ingredient to seem cool. It's more like the actual ingredient, what needs to deliver on the benefits, and the primary benefits today that we are aware of, and the research that's come out, all is more towards this relaxing, calming, soothing space, which I don't see necessarily styling playing that part.
Yeah. And just putting it out there for everyone tuning in right now, if you have any questions for Saeed or Frédéric, please feel free to fire them over, and we'll hopefully have some time at the end to get to some of them. So let's talk about this year as it relates to your business. Frédéric, what has been the most surprising or encouraging thing about navigating around the COVID pandemic as it relates to the business? Where was there some surprising opportunity there for you and your brand?
Well, first, obviously, I was very shocked by the abrupt, the abrupt consequences that COVID has inflicted on us.
Yeah.
And it has rapidly encouraged us and taught us how to communicate with our customer online, through our e-commerce, and to really be, I would say, almost like a blog / e-commerce.
Yeah.
By guiding them, by helping them, and it's been amazing to see that the consumer was also very eager to reach out to us, to find out, about their hairstyle, their hair color as well,
yeah.
And how to look and feel good while they were at home. It has helped us to also look at great technology, new software, AI, to interact with our customer with quiz and give them a bespoke, a bespoke selection of product.
Yeah.
And hopefully soon, in the future, we could also tailor an amazing, unique formula for them as well.
Yeah.
And and also on the business side, I was very pleasantly surprised to see the camaraderie and the support among all of us, our competitors, and to see the roundtable, the CEO roundtables, and that really led to great exchange, to great trading information and supporting one another.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of positive out of this, and I believe that it has also changed the attitude of all of us in the industry.
Saeed, we sort of touched on this a little bit, but in light of everything that's happening in the world right now, do you see CBD as an ingredient that consumers need and will respond to now more than ever?
I definitely. We've seen an increase in stress and anxiety in the last 6 to 8 months. Not just in the US, but both nationally and internationally as a result of the current climate. There's more concern, whether it's job security, whether it's health, but also people don't want to just necessarily turn to medications, and they're interested in seeking out natural and effective alternatives to kind of bring Zen to their lives, to calm their nerves. Wellness and well-being is a big, I would say, interest for people today. And so this whole movement of plants over pills is what's driving CBD to the top of the game. And this is where CBD is going to come in and play a big part. And I think that's also why the legalization of marijuana in many states, we will see that expanding into other states because of the interest from the public to kind of engage in a much more natural alternative.
Yeah. Frédéric, a second ago, you touched upon this idea of bespoke products, really tailored to you products, which is certainly something we're seeing growing in both the skincare and the hair care space. Do you think this is ever an area where you might want to take the brand? What thoughts on this trend and the idea of people sort of creating custom formulas online and then having them delivered right to their door? Because there seems to be an appeal there, especially now when people might be at home more, might not be going out as much more, to just have that delivered right to you. What are your thoughts there?
It's a very good question. We already scratched the surface, if you will, with our AI software, and we're learning every day. The good news is that because of COVID, or maybe COVID has basically enhanced the customer interaction with us.
Yeah.
So today we're getting data. We're getting a great data from our customer, and by collecting this data and really communicating with them, we can see that now today we can really bring, and you talked about styling product earlier, we can really formulate product that really address every customer's issue. And I believe that more and more people want to have something that is more tailored to themselves.
Yeah.
And but even today with the collection we have, I very often, and you'll see it on our site, advise our customer to mix and match product.
Yeah.
Because by doing that already, you almost making a bespoke formula for yourself. Because when you travel, the water is different when you are in New York City than if you are in LA or in Hampton or whatsoever. And also by teaching people as well to maybe not put the conditioner after the shampoo, but because of the hair, let's say, damage from keratin or bleach or anything like that, to do an intense treatment, a deep mask before the shampoo, then do the shampoo. It does change. So all of this is bespoke, if you will, already.
Right.
Like that. And that is what the customer wants to know, because to do the routine doesn't help.
Yeah.
To do the routine doesn't help, because the hair gets the same and all this. And if you want to have some great surprise with your hair or with your beauty, it's all about starting to disturb a little bit your routine and try to do what is making sense. So, for instance, when your hair is affected by the sun, by the sea, the salt, you have to do something else.
Yeah.
And if you are using hot tools, you have to do something else. So and this is where we come in and help the customer to tailor their regimen.
Yeah. Right. So.
And I want to say something, Brian, before I forget. There is some good news. COVID has, as you know, closed many stores, our salons, and so on. And today I'm very proud to say that we have launched successfully just recently at Ulta, Ulta.com first, and Ulta, and we are the captain of their. I love that word, by the way, conscious beauty department.
Yeah.
And that shows already that there is a great demand. I mean, it's nationwide. People are interested on clean formula, on sustainability, and certainly now with CBD, it's gonna trigger a lot of interest.
So speaking of which, and congrats on that. That's really fantastic. Speaking about partnering with retailers, and this is a question that I think either one of you could answer. What has that experience been like, and how do you identify the right partners, you and your brand?
Do you want to answer that, Said?
Yeah. So I was going to say, one of the things that COVID did was made us focus on what we do and what we do best, and also to focus on strong partnerships.
Yeah.
And Ulta is an experience where we feel like our brand and their brand kind of make a lot of sense together.
Right.
There's a lot of discovery when you go to Ulta. The whole experience makes you want to either engage with the brands or engage with the products, discover for yourself. You want to go back more, and it's kind of like a candy land, I would say, also for beauty. And then speaking with them, working with them together to get this launch in their doors the right way has been an amazing experience, and we're very glad for this partnership together. Yeah. And it goes to show you also, when you have a strong partnership with a retailer, the potential of the brand in that space. So we're excited. It's just starting. We have an end cap now up at all Ulta stores, and within a week we're going to be up on the shelf. And then we have some very exciting collaborations coming up.
That's great. Well, I think another thing that occurred to me, and again, this is, I think, a question either one of you could address, is there's and we touched on it a bit, but there's so much education, I think, that needs to go into CBD, using CBD, especially in an emerging category like CBD and hair care. How are you guys as a brand navigating all of the consumer education that needs to take place so that people know what CBD can do for them in hair care and how to get the most out of those products?
The education is, go ahead, Frédéric.
No, go ahead, Said. Go ahead.
The education we're building is basically at every touch point. And to your point, there needs to be a lot of education on CBD today. Kind of where we are in the scope of things for the cycle of CBD. We're in the phase of kind of legislation, research, and retailer acceptance. So those are like the first 3 stepping stones, but there's still a long way to go in terms of pushing education, in terms of destigmatization of CBD, and then adopting it within people's daily lifestyles. So for us, the way we've devised it is, one, in terms of on our own site and on any retailer sites, the education of CBD, the ABCs, I would say, of CBD, the distinction of CBD versus hemp versus THC, the benefits of it, talking about it on our social platforms, talking about it in email marketing, at shelf in retail environments. You constantly need to be very single-minded. So like the few couple of points of the benefits of it, but hammer home like what you get out of CBD and the products.
Right. Let me build up a little bit on this, right? We always address, stress affecting our health. Yeah. But, stress also affects our beauty, and it is important that to be beautiful, you need to be calmer, you need to be relaxed, you need to be self-confident. To me, beauty, it's not just having a great hairstyle or beautiful hair color or a great lipstick. It's about how we behave, how we hold our silhouette, how we feel good about ourselves. And a lot of people need help to have that calming and relaxing effect. And as I said earlier, on the hair, the surface that is the most important is the scalp. It's a lot. And if the scalp is tense and tight, it doesn't allow the hair to have that vibrancy, that shine, that fullness, that bounce, that spring that makes hair beautiful and sexy.
Yeah. So, Frédéric, some people who are tuning in right now may know this, some may not. This is actually the sort of second iteration of your brand. And when you bought the brand back, when you were thinking about relaunching this brand, evolving this brand, what were your thoughts there in terms of what needed to be different this time than what was the ethos of the brand previously? How do you think that the brand needed to evolve and change to meet the moment?
Good question, Brian. Let me just say that the first time around, I made the brand successful by great innovation, and by being the pioneer of introducing luxurious hair care, which didn't exist. Hair care was always treated as a commodity. Right. So to me, coming back with great packaging and a formula that were based on skin care technology. So we call that actually the skinification. And that's how I started. This time around, when I acquired the brand, I thought we need to do something as well relevant again. And need to do something that is not a me too, but more, an eye-opening. And what a better time than just addressing to produce products that are, sensible to the environment, to the planet, but also so safe for our health, our beauty, and with great performance. Let's not forget, clean formula existed a while ago. We're not the first one, right? But clean formula with performance, we're proud to say that we are, I don't want to say the first one, but one of the first one, for sure. And that is important, is that, is to make that distinction. Clean formula, people were shying away before because they thought they were compromising clean formula for performance. Right. Today, you don't have to. And this is what we're proving.
That's great. So as a beauty editor, I always hear that hair care and hair care products are some of the toughest products to gain consumer loyalty around, that people switch up their hair products all the time. They're not as loyal as they are to, say, skincare or fragrance or even cosmetics. Saeed, do you find that to be true, having worked in hair care for a while? Do you find that to also be true? And how do you think you may or may not be addressing that with Fekkai?
I think there is some truth in that because of the ease of which, of the switching up factor, plus the benefit because the experience is right then and there. However, I think women are understanding that there is a cumulative effect in the constant use of a certain product.
Yeah.
So from a conditioner and shampoo and conditioner perspective, the way that we've designed Fekkai is the more you use, for example, our glossing line, the more you will see the benefits of it.
Yeah.
So kind of streamlining the options for women to maybe select within a fewer range of brands and products they use. Also, there is definitely high loyalty when it comes to treatments. I think it's more than 60% within the market. And that's where you can create a point of difference. And also that's where the technology is more appreciated because you have, whether it's an immediate or kind of a long-term effect from the use of the treatment.
Yeah.
So the way that we are designing our line is that there are start treatments that when you use them, you feel the difference. And so you will want to continue buying them and using them as well.
Right. Well, we're getting... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I want to... one thing important is that because it's a novelty, because people are getting introduced to this clean formula, people are starting discovering the amazing benefit. And this is not to be taken lightly, but to substitute silicone, with plant extract derivative and having an amazing effect, and knowing that when it goes down the drain, it doesn't pollute or kill any fish.
Right.
It's a wonderful thing. I think that I speak for myself when I'm in the shower and I know that the shampoo are doing wonders and they are safe for the environment. It's absolutely fantastic.
So I think we probably have about 60 seconds left, and I wanted to get to one last question. Frédéric, where does the brand go from here? Where do you want to take the brand from here? What do you think's possibly next for you guys?
This is we've been working a lot, and Said and his team. I mean, I don't know how they get sleep anyway, but here's the thing: is today we want to focus on really getting great innovation.
Yeah.
And to enhance anything we can do, whether it's in packaging, whether it's in clean formula, and also spend a lot of time on our D2C and our partnership with a retailer like Ulta. Yeah. Because today this is important. We want to focus on a few channels and definitely on our D2C and our salon. We didn't talk about salon, but we are the proud owners of two amazing salons, world-class salons in New York City, who are doing very well. Yeah. And we're going to use this for many things. For our testing, we're doing our product testing there with our team, and we're also going to use this for social media, for event, and that's important. But also to your question, Brian, I know we don't have much time, but we are also expanding internationally. We are also on the top 10 brand at Selfridges, and Said launched just before COVID. So it's a miracle that we did that, and to be on the top 10 brand, it's amazing. Incredible. And incredible, yeah. It's amazing. And we are looking at other places in Europe with other partners, and hopefully in Asia as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you both, gentlemen, so much. We're out of time.
Thank you, Brian.
What a great talk. Thank you all. And thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.